Pretty good right there, huh? I can teach you a thing or two about that, but today I'm gonna teach you about 3 different haircuts. The Caesar, the modern mullet, and then the drop fade. Come on, let's take a look. So what we got here is the Caesar. What I'm gonna do for this haircut is leave the top long and let it flow. And then we're gonna transition towards the bottom where it's gonna be lighter, and we're gonna have the hairline distinguished on this, so you're going to be able to see the hairline pretty well. Step number 1 though, sanitation. Spray it with some disinfectant spray. And I like to use the air compressor, that way I don't have to touch anything else on it. It helps it stay more clean, and I kind of like it. And we're going to make sure that we keep this grain pattern by combing through as I cut. With the 1 guard, I'm going to make a reference line all the way around. That way I know where it's going to start, where this blend is going to start. I'm going to switch to my Wahl 5-Star Legends. Continue the blend. I'm going to put my lever all the way open, and I'm going to use that same reference line that I did before. I'm going to follow that about a 1/2 inch. Now in doing this process, you want to make sure you're doing a scooping motion. You always want to pull out towards the top. That's how you get that fade look. You're going to take your 1.5 and you're going to, the same way you did with the 1 guard, you're going to go up about a 1/2 inch from that line that's there. And you're going to want to transition to the darker hair. And you're going to do that all the way around. As you can see, his blend is pretty consistent all the way through. You can see the transition from the top to the bottom. And now I'm going to use my Wahl 5-Star Heroes to create his edge. In squaring the sides, you want to make sure that that line isn't leaning either way. You want to make sure it's straight across. That way you can match the other side with it. Now that I've done that, I'm going to look straight ahead and make sure that both sides match up. Sometimes they grow differently, so you just want them to match up without taking it back too far or far at all. I'm going to start in the middle, that way I can match the other side with the other side, with this initial side. Once again, I'm going to use the mirror for my second pair of eyes. If I see any imperfections, I put my thumb right above it. That way I have a reference point. Finish this cut using my retro T-cut. I really feel like these give a very crispy finish to any haircut. They're one of my favorite trimmers out. Plus I like the cordless. I'm going to continue to the back using the retro T-cuts, just to have a thorough finish to it. Very short strokes, very controlled short strokes going against the grain just to meet up with the hairline. I feel like going against the grain with the T-cuts helps it get to a close finish. So there we go. Caesar hairstyle. And we're back. So for this hairstyle, we're gonna do the modern mullet. Now we're gonna create some texture on the top, have a nice clean fade down to bald, and then in the back, we're gonna have nice flow with some volume. You know, we're gonna create the volume very similar to the way we did at the top. We create the texture at the top. And we're going to do about 1/2 inch. I'm going to take my one guard, my Wahl 1 guard. Now that I've done that, I'm going to open the lever all the way. And this is going to be one of those 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch strokes. It's going to be a little bit bigger than the short one we just did. But we're going to continue and repeat what we did for the zero at the beginning. Now that we've created that line, we're going to go in the middle, and we're just going to go over that first line that we made with the one guard. Now that that part is done, I'm going to take my Wahl comb and use clip over comb technique. And this right here, all this does is join where you were fading and the bulky sections of the haircut. When doing this technique, you want to make sure that you have it at a good angle so that you're not cutting into the fade. There you go, that side, the fade is done. We're going to go to the other side and repeat the steps differently. So what I like to do to take that 0 to the 1 line out is I like to use my bottom corner for the pressure and then just scoop it out where I see a dark line. So now what I'm going to do is work on the top and the back. I'm going to start off on the top by wetting it. I want to make sure that the hair is laying down as naturally as possible, and it kind of like helps the hair stretch out a little bit to where you can tell if it's an even cut or not. And we're going to comb that water through, make sure it kind of saturates all this hair on the top. So I like to hold the clipper upside down for this part. And what I'm going to do is create texture by going in, straight in, not just across, but in. That's going to create texture. Now I went in from the middle, that way I can work my way out. The middle is going to be my reference, and then I work my way out from there. As I'm taking the hair off, I'm pulling my finger out, and that's going to create some volume. Now that we've done that, keep the client's face clear. for the finishing touches, I'm going to use my Wahl detailers. Black and gold version. I'm going to use my disinfectant spray. Now I'm only doing the very bottom. I'm going to go below this area because that's where I made my reference point with the 5-star magic clips. I'm going to finish up this cut using my retro T cut because I like the way how close it gets after I've made that initial line. It's a great finishing tool for the hairline. For the finishing touches, I like to use my Wahl Super Close 5-star Shaver Shaper. It gets closer than a razor. So I'm going to create some texture, a textured look with some pomade. And there you go. This is how I do the modern mullet. It's not such a 1980s hairstyle anymore. We brought it to the 2000s, 2020 almost. For the drop fade, we're going to pretty much concentrate the blend down here. If you can see this section of the hairline that goes straight down, and then where it's a point and it rounds off, we want to concentrate this below that point. So it's going to be a majority of our fading is going to be concentrated on this section. And we're going to follow that all the way down here, below the occipital bone, all the way through to the other side. Now for this, I'm going to use my Wahl 5-star magic clips. Once you've made that reference line, you're going to come back and clear out all that hair. We're going to open up the lever all the way, about ½ inch to a quarter inch. We're going to scoop it out. And we're going to do that all the way around. Once that's complete, we're going to put the lever in the middle and take out that bottom line. Short strokes. Scoop it out. With the one guard, you're going to do short strokes all the way around. Just making sure that you get above that line, like right above that line that you made with the 0 all the way open. And getting a clean fade within each guard, it's okay to go back and forth in a specific area and open and close it. I always like to keep it open first, just because you can always take away hair. It's harder to add hair, so keep that in mind. Now that it's faded evenly on that reference line, I'm going to use the clip over comb technique. I'm going to do this all the way around. it's always easier to grab from when the hair is going forward. From here, I'm going to use point cutting technique. The clippers create a little texture. Now that that section is complete, I'm going to finish off by using my Wahl 5-star retro T-cuts. I'm gonna just go below that original line that I made and just scoop it up using my wrist. Now that that's complete, I'm going to use my retro T-cuts to edge him. I'm going to edge him along the front and the sides. So I'm going to start off in performing all your finishing touches. You want to make sure that everything is flowing together. So everything from the fade to the edge, you want to make sure that it's flowing. Now that that side is done, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Now that that's complete, I'm going to finish up using my Wahl Super Close 5-star shaver shapers. I'm going to put a little pomade and remember, you want to spread it throughout your hands before you apply it. That way you get that even distribution. You want to make sure you touch the sides and then the front. I usually do the front first because a lot of people like to pull their hair back. And there you go, folks. That's the drop fade hairstyle. I want to thank you for watching. Thanks for allowing me to submit my 2019 online barber battle. Hopefully I'll see you guys soon. And hey, hope you learned something.